What's going on, guys? Kivox here, and today we're going to be talking about the gear that I use, the camera that I'm recording on right now, the lens that I'm recording on, and the other lens that I actually use for some other specific things that I sometimes record. I want to make some more videos like this to help you guys, help fellow YouTubers that are either just starting or looking for some upgrades on a couple of things. I want to make some more talking about the lighting and the audio and a couple of other things that I've learned that hopefully would help you guys actually kind of get the ball rolling on some things. I am going to be putting links down below to all the stuff that I'm talking about today. And if you guys do end up using those links to buy anything, it does help out the channel. It doesn't cost anything extra for you guys. It just, again, helps us out and helps us hopefully get some better gear, do some more giveaways, stuff like that. And before I start, I also want to give a big shout out to all the Patreons on Patreon, all the supporters. I'm not really sure what to call you guys, but thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for helping us grow, and you guys are my favorite so far, and hopefully that community grows. If you guys want to check out the Patreon, I'll put it down below, and you guys could go and check it out, see if there's anything on there that's worth your time. So let's start off with the camera, which is the main part of this whole thing. The camera that I've been using is a Canon T6i. A couple reasons I chose this camera. The main reason is that it wasn't extremely expensive, and quality for performance that I got out of it, was worth it to me. It made sense to invest that in a camera that I'm not gonna have to upgrade for a while. I'm not spending $300 on something that I'm gonna wanna upgrade next month. So I believe we paid about $650 for this camera. It may be a little bit cheaper now. I'll put the current price as of today on the screen so that you guys know exactly, if you guys are interested in that, how much it's gonna cost. I ended up just buying the actual camera body as opposed to the whole camera with the kit lens. I'm not a big fan of the kit lens. The kit lens is the lens that comes with the camera itself. So basically you can buy the stock in the box camera. It comes with a lens that's kind of a jack of all trades. It does everything well, nothing great. It's decent enough, and it does the job, and you can get a lot of good photos. If you're doing this for photos, then you can get some great photos with those lenses. So I ended up getting two lenses. As opposed to using that kit lens, I got a Canon 24mm prime. So prime means that it doesn't zoom in. It always stays at that fixed zoom, I guess you could say. That's the easiest way to put it. So what is actually amazing and I love about this lens is that it is extremely crisp. One, it's very shallow, so you can kind of throw it in your pocket. It's too close up to do a lot of vlogging. You really can't hold the camera up in front of you like this because it'll be too zoomed in. For that, I have the other lens that I'll show you guys in a second. I'm just gonna have to swap them, and you'll actually be able to see the difference between the two. This lens that I have on right now is the 10 to 18, and it actually goes from 10 to 18, which that's the 18. This one starts at 24, so it's a little bit more zoomed in. The reason I chose it, one, it has autofocus, which is a must. The Canon T6i has a decent autofocus, and you can record while it autofocuses, which some of the other cameras, some of the lower end ones, won't actually allow you to do that. For a YouTuber, it is huge to be able to record something and focus at the same time, as opposed to set your focus and then try to record something. If you're making movies, if you're making actual like films, you'll know what to do. So, but if somebody that just wants to pick up a camera and start recording, make it as easy as possible, because they know that they're gonna have to put a video up, let's say the next day, because they just recorded and they don't want to spend time doing a bunch of crazy stuff and trying to do all of that. Having autofocus is great. Being able to not have to think about it all the time. Just set it to focus on your face, and that's about it. And then you also have, you know, oh, now I want it to focus on my hand, but it's not focusing on my hand, it's still focusing on my face. What's nice about this camera is that you can actually, right now I'm just clicking on my palm, and it's going to focus on my palm. And then if I move my face away, my hand away, it's gonna start focusing on my face. This may take a couple seconds. There it is. But it does work, and you know, as long as you treat it nicely and you're patient, these cameras are great. DSLRs are great as well because they let in a lot more light. Their sensors are a little bit bigger than some of these smaller cameras, so what's going to happen is you're going to get better low light performance. That gives you less grain on the video, unless you want grain. Sometimes people like grain. It's not a big deal. You know, personally, I don't love it. I try to keep my ISO. I'm going in a little bit too far right now, but there's a lot of settings. If you guys want me to do a video about all of my settings and kind of go over more of the settings, the aperture and everything like that, all of the different specific settings that I choose for my shots, let me know down below, and I'll do a whole video about that. It may be a little bit on the longer side, and maybe on the dorkier side, which I love doing dorky videos, so don't get me wrong. But I just want to know if you guys actually want to see that. So moving on, it's great for recording and getting really sharp detail with a nice blurred background. You don't get as much on this lens because it only goes up to 4.5, I believe. This will actually go down to 2.8, which is extremely shallow. And basically what's going to happen is the front of your face will basically be in focus, and the back of your head and everything back there will be out of focus, which looks really good sometimes. It's great for B-roll. If you have a shot that you want to get of a cool figure or something like that, it's amazing. Or some tech videos, if you're doing some nice B-roll and you want it to look nice and blurry in the background, or if you want to pull focus from the background to the foreground, this lens is great. Again, it doesn't zoom, but it's extremely sharp and it looks so good. Moving on to the current lens that's actually on the camera right now, I'm gonna swap them and you're gonna see the difference between the furthest away that this lens could look. So right now, as I'm talking to the camera, I'm about, let's say, about the distance of my hand. So let's say about 7 inches, 8 inches maybe, from thumb to pinky. So I can get extremely close, and the microphone is gonna pick me up very well, and it's gonna sound decent, and I'm gonna be up close. You're gonna get some nice detail. I could also pull away, and now I'm not really that far away, but it looks like I'm really far away, which, you know, is something that that it all depends if that's what you want. Now, if we switch over to this one, I'm gonna have to pull back probably all the way back here to be able to actually talk to you guys and it not look like I'm about this close to the camera, and you guys can see all my pores on my face and some crazy stuff. So let me switch that out. So the next thing you're gonna see is gonna be this lens, and then I'll talk a little bit more about that lens that's on the camera right now. I'm still standing in the same exact spot, and you can see now that my head's completely chopped off, and I'm actually still at the same height, but I basically have to back up a step and then also lower my body down to be able to actually get in the shot decently. You could also see that the color on it is a lot lighter. That happens because let me get back up here. It's actually letting in a lot more light because the 2.4 aperture is actually a lot bigger than the 4.5 on this, when it's set to the, the 24 millimeter on that, and this one's set down to the 10 millimeter. That's letting in a lot more light, so therefore I have to adjust the ISO on this. So I adjusted it so you can see now that it is a lot darker. If I stand here, my background is completely blurred, which it can look really, really good if you guys know how to shoot that. As you can see, that lens is great, but you do have to sit significant. I'm basically sitting at my keyboard right now to be able to get this shot decently close enough, I guess far away enough, so that it doesn't look all weird and stuff. So basically, this lens is great for vlogging, where you could just sit there and hold the lens like this and just talk to the lens and have it nice and close and not have to hold the camera all the way out there to get a okay shot of just basically your nose, and talk to it and not be too far away. Because basically right now I went from sitting maybe about a foot away from the camera, 1.5 feet away, to I would say probably about 3 feet. I'm probably about 3 feet away from the lens as we speak, as I'm talking to you right now. If you don't have a lot of room, this lens is definitely a good alternative. The kit lens that comes with the camera is usually, it starts at 18, I believe it goes up to about 50 or 55. So it starts at the closest setting that this one can get to. So basically this one goes up to 18, 18 looks closer, 10 looks further away. So basically the reason I got this lens, I actually ended up getting that one first, and then I was like, oh man, I have to set up my shots so far away. And then I found out about this lens and I was just like, ooh, that's a good alternative. The 24 millimeter is definitely cheaper. It's I believe $150 This one is about $275, so this one's definitely a little bit more of an investment. If you can pick up the camera for $500, you pick this up for $275, you're looking at probably about $800 after shipping, but it's a better alternative in my opinion than getting the kit lens, especially if you're doing video and you're doing close-up video where you're gonna be just talking to the camera. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot when it comes to that, but I don't love the kit lenses, and I feel like the whole point of having a DSLR is to have the ability to choose what kind of lens you want, what specific kind of videos you're gonna make, and do stuff like that, and basically have the customization, I guess, and be able to pick and choose every little part that you want. If your shot's like this, use this lens. If you're doing something different, use the other lens. So those are the reasons that I ended up getting this setup basically that I got. I hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure to check out the Amazon links down below to this stuff if you want to actually pick up any of it. And if you guys do have any questions about these specific things that I'm talking about or about anything else, again, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them as promptly as possible. And guys, if you want to help support the channel, check out the Patreon and join the community, and it would be great to see you guys on there. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye bye bye.